بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم
إن أول بيت وضع للناس للذي ببكة مباركا وهدى للعالمين فيه آيات بينات مقام إبراهيم ومن دخله كان آمنا ولله على الناس حج البيت من استطاع إليه سبيلا ومن كفر فإن الله غني عن العالمين.
Allah's Prophet Abraham and his son Ismail, on them be peace, raised the foundations of the ancient abode into a full-fledged structure, the Holy Kaaba. That auspicious event has ever since served as a mark of distinction, giving Holy Mecca a much enhanced prestige. So much so that Muslims, year in, year out, flock to the city to offer their devotions at its sacred mosque. Mecca is at the center of the earth. It appears as such on maps made by old geographers in bygone days. This notion of centricity springs to the viewer's mind as he beholds the worshippers moving round and round in waves, with the Holy Kaaba at the center, acting as a focal point of attraction to Muslims from east and west. In the ancient past, flooding posed a constant threat to the structure of the Holy Kaaba. On several occasions in pre-Islamic times, its walls cracked and caved in under the impact of floods. On the last such occasion, and while Quraysh was busy rebuilding it, Muhammad appeared on the site and gave the builders a hand. That was shortly before the beginning of his mission. During the period between the takeover of Mecca by the Prophet, on him be peace, and the death of the first rightly guided caliph, Abu Bakr as-Siddiq, may Allah be pleased with him, the area of the sacred mosque remained unchanged as the Muslims were first preoccupied with the mission of spreading their faith and later engaged in defeating apostasy. When the rightly guided caliph, Umar ibn al-Khattab, may Allah be pleased with him, took over the reins of government, he carried out the first extension of the sacred mosque's courtyard. He also built a wall around the mataf, that is the circumambulation area, and had it surfaced with gravel. The tradition of extending and refurbishing the sacred mosque has been kept alive by succeeding Muslim caliphs. The last such extension in bygone times occurred during the reign of the Abbasid caliph, al-Muqtada Billah, in 306 Hijrah. No extension or addition to the sacred mosque had ever been made from that time and until the advent of the auspicious Saudi age. When the founder and champion of unification, King Abdulaziz al-Saud, may his soul rest in peace, came to power, he gave the two holy mosques and the pilgrims' welfare his full and undivided attention. He gave instructions for the launch of a full-scale operation of renovation and maintenance. As part of this drive, a number of projects were launched, including the erection of sunshades to protect the pilgrims from the glare of the sun, and the installation of two public Zamzam water fountains in the middle of the mosque. A clock was installed near the sacred mosque, a real first. Besides, restoration work was done on the door of the Holy Kaaba. Those two old items are now among the exhibits at the Two Holy Mosques Maintenance Exhibition, founded by the General Presidency for the Affairs of the Sacred Mosque at el-Jud in Mecca. King Abdulaziz, of blessed memory, launched the first Saudi-sponsored extension, thereby raising the available prayer area in the sacred mosque from 28,000 square meters to 151,000 square meters. That is 5 times more than the previous figure dating back to the reign of the Abbasid Caliph al-Muqtada Billah. It had remained unchanged for centuries thereafter. In the year 1407 Hijrah, King Fahd, may Allah keep him, issued a royal order prescribing that the name, the General Presidency for the Affairs of the Two Holy Mosques, be changed to the General Presidency for the Affairs of the Sacred Mosque and the Prophet's Mosque. In the same year, King Fahd ibn Abdulaziz, may Allah keep him, changed the title His Majesty to the Custodian of the Two Holy Mosques, as token of his affection and great esteem for the Two Holy Mosques.
يطيب لي أن أعلن لكم اليوم من مدينة الرسول الكريم عليه الصلاة والسلام عن رغبة ملحة تخامرني منذ إن شاء الله أن أتسلم زمام الحكم في وطني العزيز باستبدال مسمى صاحب الجلالة بلقب أحبه يشرفني أن أحمله وهو خادم الحرمين الشريفين. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. على بركة الله.
On the 2nd of Safar of the year 1409 Hijra, the Custodian of the Two Holy Mosques laid the foundations for the major extension of the Sacred Mosque. So substantial was this latest step that the Sacred Mosque, so splendidly grand, has become a true embodiment of what piety, backed up by architectural skill, can achieve.
وأرجو أن نوفق لأي عمل يكون مفيد للمسلمين القادمين لهذه البلاد المقدسة ومكة والمدينة والمشاعر الأخرى. فأي عمل عمل فيها في الماضي أو عمل فيها في الحاضر هو لوجه الله.
The giant extension project started with the purchase of buildings adjacent to the western side of the Sacred Mosque. They were pulled down and leveled to the ground. As a result of that, an extra area of 76,000 square meters was added to the project. On completion, the mammoth project consisted of basement, a ground floor, a first floor, and the roof. The directives of the Custodian of the Two Holy Mosques prescribed that the use of locally produced materials in the extension work be treated as a priority. A quick look at the size of materials used in the extension project reveals on top of the list the staggering figure of 111,750 cubic meters of concrete, reinforced with 16,204 tons of steel. Columns account for another impressive figure. There were 492 columns on each floor, all covered with white marble. The exterior faces of the extension rise to 21 meters in height. They are all covered with industrial stone and Saudi marble from Wadi Fatima. As part of the extension project, 24 gates were added to give the pilgrims greater freedom of movement at peak hours. King Fahd Gate is located on the main frontage of the extension building, topped by 2 minarets, one on each side, rising to a height of 89 meters. They raise the total number of minarets to 9. The design of the 4 major gates is such that it gives prominence to the aesthetic touches of Islamic architecture in its impressive splendor and elegance. The extension also produced 3 spherical domes, one next to the other, rising to a height of 13 meters above the roof. Their design matches that of the domes on the roof of the extension launched by King Abdulaziz. Another dome was built at Marwa, matching in all respects that at Asafa, Marwa's twin sister. To provide great freedom of movement in and out, 2 new entrances to the basement were built, and with that, the total number of gates to the Sacred Mosque has risen to 124.
Allahu Akbar.
When turned on, the gilded chandeliers and the other various lighting in the Sacred Mosque leave the entire place bathed in a sea of dazzling light. This sight brings home to onlookers a fairly accurate idea of the magnitude of the work being carried out under the supervision of the General Presidency for the Affairs of the Sacred Mosque and the Prophet's Mosque. in order to underline the lofty spiritual standing which the sacred mosque enjoys in the hearts of Muslims. On orders of the custodian of the Two Holy Mosques, 2 more escalators with a combined capacity of 30,000 persons per hour have been commissioned in the service of visitors to the sacred mosque. This new addition has raised the number of escalators installed on the periphery of the sacred mosque to 7. As part of the Sacred Mosque Extension Project, 3 external courtyards with a total area of 88,000 square meters, all covered with heat-deflecting Tassis marble, have been added to accommodate 190,000 worshippers. By virtue of this major extension, commissioned by the custodian of the Two Holy Mosques, the Sacred Mosque now has a total area of 366,168 square meters, large enough to accommodate 820,000 worshippers. At peak hours, the figure could hit the 1 million mark or even more. The Holy Kaaba has received all the royal care and attention it duly deserves. The custodian of the Two Holy Mosques called for renovation and refurbishment to be carried out affecting its walls, columns, ceiling, and door. Its old spout was to be replaced with a new one similar in shape. The marble of Al-Hatim was to be refurbished, and the compartment of the station of Ibrahim, on him be peace, to be changed. Likewise, the custodian of the Two Holy Mosques has given instructions prescribing the adoption of a solution to the floods, which have always posed a grave threat to the sacred mosque and the Holy Kaaba. In compliance with the royal instructions, a sophisticated network has been implemented to drain away rain and flood water. Thus, that ever-present menace has now become a memory of the past. The extension of the Two Holy Mosques has given rise to a number of supporting projects, such as the public utilities implemented underground in a Souq Sagir area. They include 690 toilets, 449 ablution points, and 114 drinking fountains. Similar facilities were launched in Al-Kashashia. They include 1,440 toilets, 1,091 ablution points, and 162 drinking fountains. The care that Zamzam well has received is commensurate with its holy status. It has been given extra depth through further drilling. Its waters are regularly purified as well as sterilized by the utilization of sophisticated methods involving the use of ultraviolet rays. This is to protect its waters from contamination. The sterilization process affects neither the color, the smell, nor the taste of the water in any way. To make sure that Zamzam water is available to the pilgrims all the time, drinking fountains, along with 13,000 water coolers, have been installed in various parts of the sacred mosque. The water always comes pure and cool under the vigilant supervision of Zamzam Water Department, an offshoot of the General Presidency for the affairs of the Sacred Mosque and the Prophet's Mosque. This is supplemented by King Abdul Aziz public water reservoirs, which have a holding capacity of more than 16,750 cubic meters. Water from this facility is distributed to pilgrims, citizens, and Mecca residents, as well as to the Prophet's Holy Mosque. The Department of Cleanliness and Furnishings, another offshoot of the General Presidency for the Affairs of the Sacred Mosque and the Prophet's Mosque, has produced a large quantity of carpets for use in the mosque. A quota of 15,000 rugs are assigned to the ground and upper floors, 7,000 to the roof during the month of Ramadan, 2,000 to the basement, and 2,500 to the courtyards. As precautionary measure against possible power failure, the custodian of the Two Holy Mosques has ordered the procurement of a standby power station. A proper site was selected in the Kudeh area, and the standby station was built in due course with a capacity of 32 megawatts, enough to light a whole city. This is supplemented by a standby battery system connected to the main power supply sources through an electronic control room, which makes it possible for the vital sectors in the sacred mosque to keep going in case of a power cut in the interim when the standby station takes over from the main station in an emergency. The Operation and Maintenance Department in the General Presidency for the Affairs of the Sacred Mosque and the Prophet's Mosque keeps this impressive achievement realized by highly qualified Saudis under its efficient and constant supervision.
ألا فاتقوا الله أيها المسلمون ما استطعتم وأعدوا من قوة الخير والحق ما استطعتم.
الله أكبر.
الله أكبر.
The ultra-modern air conditioning system installed in the Sacred Mosque can hold its own against any world-class system in the same line.
ما راح نهدأ إلا إن شاء الله نجد سبيل إنه كل أروقة الحرم المكي تتكيف. إن شاء الله. ما أقدر أقول إنه بتعطي 100%، لكن تعطي على الأقل 70-80%. مع المراوح تعطي نتائج.
A special air conditioning plant was set up at Ajad Street, 450 meters away from the Sacred Mosque. The plant has a total refrigeration capacity of 13,000 tons of chilled water. Which are pumped through ducts inside the service tunnel all the way down to the Holy Mosque's underground floor. The seat of the refrigeration units, by which the air is chilled and then pumped throughout the extension building. Architectural aesthetics were taken into account when designing the apertures through which the chilled air flows. They are artistically installed in a symmetrical pattern in the capital of the marble columns. On the other hand, hot air is sucked out through apertures at the bottom of the columns. By this arrangement, the entire extension building enjoys proper ventilation and an atmosphere that is naturally air-conditioned, much to the delight of the pious worshippers. Another step in the same direction is the Masa air conditioning project, so vital to the pilgrims' comfort. The last touch in this air-conditioned environment is administered by 1,292 ceiling and wall fans, which untiredly keep puffing out cool air all over the place.
سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون وسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين. الله أكبر. الله أكبر.
The General Presidency for the Affairs of the Sacred Mosque and the Prophet's Mosque needs to remain in close touch with all those linked to the Sacred Mosque, one way or the other, be they groups or individuals. To meet this need, an integrated telecommunications system has been installed. For one, it helps administrative work to proceed smoothly. It also makes it easier to find urgent solutions to emergency cases. They include fire detectors, and closed-circuit TV, utilizing the service of 651 TV cameras installed in various parts of the mosque. This enables the authorities in charge to pursue and implement their own duties and ensure the highest degree of security and safety for the worshippers. Moreover, a unique audio network has been installed, utilizing 2,800 loudspeakers and 322 amplifiers. All these systems were later updated with funds from the private purse of the custodian of the Two Holy Mosques, may Allah keep him, with a view to having a radio and TV system which could transmit live to and receive from various parts of the world through satellites.
سلام على موسى وهارون إنا كذلك نجزي المحسنين إنهما من عبادنا المؤمنين الله أكبر.
In its ceaseless efforts to provide the pilgrims with all the facilities they need, the General Presidency for the Affairs of the Sacred Mosque and the Prophet's Mosque may go even beyond the concept of what a normally good service looks like. Its decision to provide the elderly and the handicapped among the pilgrims with wheelchairs to use while performing their rituals is a case in point. Another remarkable goodwill gesture has taken the form of lockers where the pilgrims could keep their personal effects. These lockers are installed outside the sacred mosque. A directive from the custodian of the Two Holy Mosques provides for the installation of a central electronic system connecting all the clocks in the sacred mosque to one or the other of two time systems, Zawali and Ghurubi, the purpose being to tell prayer time with pinpoint accuracy. To facilitate motor traffic and pedestrian movement to and from the sacred mosque and the city's other holy places, as well as the city itself, an extensive communications network has been built, buttressed by a number of tunnels and flyovers. Lighting, safety measures, and other auxiliary services have been introduced at the site, together with services meant for pilgrims, citizens, and expatriates. The extension project was officially brought to completion on the 30th of Dhul Qa'dah, 1423 Hijra. The custodian of the Two Holy Mosques, may Allah keep him, had given the project from beginning to end such care and attention which only a kind-hearted, highly pious man could give. He even explored the possible future needs of the mosque and took the necessary measures to meet them. Whenever the covering of the Holy Kaaba, manufactured by Saudi artisans, is mentioned, the memory of the founding father, King Abdulaziz ibn Abdurrahman al Saud, may he rest in peace, jumps to mind. For it was he who gave orders in 1346 Hijra to set up a factory in Ajad area for the manufacture of a covering for the Holy Kaaba. When the custodian of the Two Holy Mosques, may Allah keep him, took up the reins of government, he gave orders to modernize the factory and provide it with world-class textile machinery of various sizes and electronic machines for the manufacture of jacquard, used in weaving the Kaaba black rope and its inner curtain. Other machines for the manufacture of fabrics used in embroidery were also procured. By virtue of these improvements, the factory can confidently claim that its products have the hallmark of good workmanship, durability, and beauty. Of all the services rendered by the General Presidency for the Affairs of the Sacred Mosque and the Prophet's Mosque, the one which receives the lion's share of attention is group teaching at the Sacred Mosque. The state views this educational activity with much favor, being an effective means of spreading proper religious enlightenment at the hands of eminent scholars and legists who have full command of Sharia, that is, Islamic law. Normally, 22 daily group teaching classes are held, but the number is higher during peak seasons such as the blessed month of Ramadan and the pilgrimage months. Lessons are delivered also in other languages such as Urdu, Indonesian, Malay, and English under the supervision of the Department of Orientation and Guidance, an offshoot of the General Presidency for the Affairs of the Sacred Mosque and the Prophet's Mosque. The Presidency has launched a network dealing with ifta, that's religious ruling. Through this medium, questions are forwarded by Muslims and answers are provided by prominent scholars specializing in jurisprudence, religious ruling, and legislation. On orders from the custodian of the Two Holy Mosques, an exhibition was opened in al-Jud in Holy Mecca, with rare exhibits representing the development and maintenance of the Holy Mosque down the ages. The royal directive was conveyed to the General Presidency for the Affairs of the Sacred Mosque and the Prophet's Mosque, which took charge of the implementation. The custodian of the Two Holy Mosques has always felt that exhibits of such significant value must be well preserved and that generations of Muslims should know more about their glorious Islamic history. The exhibition consists of several halls, each devoted to a particular theme as follows: architectural models representing the development and maintenance of the sacred mosque and arranged in historical sequence. Material of historical significance relating to the Holy Kaaba and dating back to various Islamic ages. A collection of rare photographs of the Holy Kaaba and the sacred mosque. A collection of manuscripts as well as old handwritten copies of the Holy Quran. Architectural models of the Prophet's Mosque and rare pictures and drawings chronicling the history and the development and maintenance of the mosque since its beginnings. The iron railings of Zamzam well along with a collection of old buckets. The moment the custodian of the Two Holy Mosques asked the General Presidency for the Affairs of the Sacred Mosque and the Prophet's Mosque to supervise the Two Holy Mosques, its staff rolled up their sleeves and started work with the determination to spare no effort in the course of performing the administrative and technical duties assigned to them. These require the supervision of activities relating to operation, maintenance, cleanliness, water provision, and follow-up. The Presidency has proved itself equal to the task in all respects, in words and deeds, in planning and execution, to the satisfaction of the higher authorities. The Presidency carries out its duties day and night, round the clock. It employs the best methods in order to attain the highest standards of efficiency. It goes out of its way to draw up development plans and conjure up in all honesty, accuracy, and sincerity to be rendered to all people heading for the Two Holy Mosques, citizen, expatriates, pilgrims, and performance of Umrah. In all that it does, the General Presidency for the Affairs of the Sacred Mosque and the Prophet's Mosque seeks the pleasure of Allah Most High and keeps fresh in mind the directives of the custodian of the Two Holy Mosques, King Fahd ibn Abdul Aziz, may Allah keep him. The extension sponsored by the custodian of the Two Holy Mosques will always be considered a major landmark in the history of religious piety and devotion, and will be a source of inspiration to many generations to come. It is not only the enormity of the achievement which commands admiration, but also the religious fervor and dedication that have gone with it.
اللهم زد هذا البيت تشريفا وتعظيما وتكريما ومهابة.